Hi there and welcome to Lorena's Labyrinth. My name's Anna Pirelli. The comments that you see here are my views, beliefs, opinions, and sometimes they are not even my fully formed views, beliefs, and opinions. However, they are my understandings. Please do retain an open mind and reflect on any of the content and your comfort levels. If your views differ, please feel free to leave a comment. Also remember, it is possible to disagree in respectful ways. My way is not necessarily your way and vice versa. You might also find that some of the content on this playlist in regard to spiritual or universal laws, it resonates with you, meaning it feels right to you, while other laws may not feel right or they may not feel comfortable. If this is the case, the information is either not right for you or it is not right for you right now, and it might never be right for you at any given time. It really doesn't matter. As an earthy and practical person, I can put my hand up with all honesty and say that I have at different times had the same feelings about some of the content in here. And with some of them, I still have a level of skepticism within my viewpoints, but I choose to retain an open mind about the things that I don't fully understand for a few reasons. Firstly, because I believe it would be supreme arrogance to think that we all know all of the answers while we have a body. And because what is right for one of us is not necessarily right or suitable for all of us, and I choose to respect the differences. Please do leave your opinions, beliefs. Feel free to argue the points in a respectful way with any of the content on the slides and even my interpretations. And if you feel that you can add clarity around some of the content, we would all love to see it. Thank you. For now, though, let's explore the laws.
All creation is governed by law. The principles that operate in the outer universe, discoverable by scientists, are called natural laws. But there are subtler laws that rule the hidden spiritual planes and the inner realm of consciousness. Contained within these laws, or conditions, is the true nature of matter. Knowledge of these laws has an effect upon the mental urges. Mind is the builder. Stay in full mindfulness of the application of universal law as related to self and to others, and know that in love all life is given, in love all things move. In giving one attains, in giving one acquires. In giving, love becomes the fulfillment of desire, guided and directed in the ways that bring the more perfect knowledge of self as related to the universal, all-powerful, all-guiding, all divine influence in life. Love is life. When we go back, merge with the God source, in some infinitesimal but profound way, we expand the mind of God. Our higher self always points the best and most perfect way, and it is ours to listen and choose or reject what we hear. It does not blame, but patiently tries again to show the perfect way, the loving way. All of creation pushes forth. We are ever becoming. Identity ever remains. Universal Law number 58. The Law of Miracles. This law is operable by any person who has realized that the essence of creation is light. A master is able to employ his/her divine knowledge of light phenomena to project instantly into perceptible manifestation the ubiquitous light atoms. The actual form of the projection, whatever it is, water into wine, medicine, a human body, is determined by the master's wish and by his or her powers of will and visualization. All events in our precisely adjusted universe are lawfully wrought and lawfully explicable. The so-called miraculous powers of a great master are a natural accompaniment to his or her exact understanding of subtle laws that operate in the inner cosmos of consciousness. Nothing is a miracle except in the profound sense that everything is a miracle. Is anything more miraculous than that each of us is encased in an intricately organized body and is set upon on earth whirling through space among the stars?
So once again, this is a big ugh, right? When I read words like master, I kind of smell superiority and a lack of humility. And not only that, my understanding of universal conditions is that anything that is put up as a limitation around any subject is actually a human limitation, that divine energy or divine love is unlimited and divine power. And so I don't see the creator, if you like, by whatever name you want to call him, her, I don't see them turning around and saying basically, or holding an energetic approach of, well, I'm only going to do miracles for these people because they're so special, because they've done so much training and all the rest of it. And in fact, I would say, based on my experiences, that's not how it happens at all, okay? I also see it to be very egocentric if a person is going to put forward the belief that only certain special people can do it, because my understanding is that anybody can create a miracle, okay? And it's about approach. It's also about faith. So in many ways, I see this particular law and all the words around it as a particular type of word salad, right? Now, when we talk about turning water into wine, I know most of us are going to go, big snort, well, maybe if you're Jesus, and isn't that a fairy tale from the Bible? Well, my whole response is, you know what? It could be, but it might not be, okay? And this is not because I believe or don't believe. It's because I've witnessed miracles that have no practical, logical, or rational explanation to them. So I'm aware that there are things that can be done. But what else can I add to this? I suppose the only thing that I could say is that the miracles that I've participated in, that I'm not prepared to share, I don't consider myself to be the central figure of those manifestations of miracles. Basically, I invoke the higher energies. So I guess where I'm going with this is, this law is kind of stating that, hey, you're the person, you're the one with all the power, and you whip these miracles up alone of your own accord because you're so fantabulous, or whatever. Whereas for me, miracles don't occur that way. I don't have a desire to be there saying, look at me, look what I created, I'm so fantabulous. For me, miracles occur as part of a team effort. So the times that I have needed a miracle, I have called on the divine. Now, if you're into this stuff, and if you've looked at stuff that I've got on my channel, you'll see that my personal values include invoking and working with the angels. Now, my approach to miracle making and all the miracles that I've experienced have actually directly involved the, I shouldn't say the use because that makes it sound like I'm using them, the interaction, the invocation, the calling for support of the angels to have these incredible experiences. And the thing is, I'm not alone with my understanding and experiences of miracles, because I've spoken to enough people, and during my growth years, if you like, I tested out a lot of the information that I was coming, as you do. So back in the day, I was in remote areas. For those that don't know, I lived in remote areas. There was no such thing as a spiritual church. There was no psychic development circles or whatever. And what would happen is the universe would bring me together with other people, and we would expand knowledge. We would, for ourselves, we would learn different tidbits, and then we would ask the questions, is this true? What does this feel like? Is it possible to do certain things? And it was through that process of developing our personal connection that we actually learned a lot of the strategy. And we didn't learn it from books, we learned it from personal experience. I mean, when I say I didn't learn it from books, yes, there were a couple of books that I went to, there was a couple of things that I read as I was guided and directed to developing my understanding, but a lot of that stuff was just completely organic, and just because we were trying to find answers to questions. I was going to give you a story. The intention was here that I would give a story about one particular miracle that I was involved in, because it was just so incredible, and it was a response to my plea for help in a desperate situation, and the universe responded. Now, the thing is that what I have observed is that I've been so fortunate and so blessed that most of the miracles, if not all of the miracles that I've experienced, have had, or do I call them a miracle or do I call them unexplained phenomena, have occurred anyway when there's other people present and participating in the actual outcome in such a way as everybody's left mind blown. But anyway, I've decided I'm not going to share them with you because I just think that they're deeply personal and they just sound so implausible and unbelievable if I was to share them because, you know, I guess that's the nature of a miracle. The only thing that I would say is that we need to remember too that when we ask for a miracle from the universe, that's manifesting. That's a form of manifesting. When we ask for a divine intervention, we're actually manifesting through that approach. And the universe will always deliver, but we have to be awake enough to see when it's delivered. We have to be able to notice the signs. And in some of the cases, in the early days of me testing theory, my clairvoyance wasn't as open to be able to observe the outcomes, yet I had people that would come to my house who were clairvoyants, who did have open third eye, and they would walk through the door. Sometimes I wouldn't tell them what I'd been manifesting around the house. Actually, so this one I can sort of share with you with ease. I had decided I wanted to put protection on my house. I was feeling unsafe. So I invoked angels and, you know, basically put a guardian at the door. And then I decided, you know what, maybe I need to make sure that people of questionable intent don't come through the front gate. Stuff like this. And I did it the night before. And I hadn't told my friends. And then the next morning, these two clairvoyant ladies came by basically back to back. One arrived and she left. And then the other one arrived and they both came through the door with the same comments. And yet I hadn't had time to phone either of them to tell them what I'd been doing the night before, which actually is something that I would have done normally and said, when you come through the doors, can you check, you know? But in this particular situation, one of the friends arrived, I think it was about 8 a.m. in the morning, and she just turned up without notice and came through the door and said, what's going on with those people out there? You know, just asked the question to confirm to me that actually what I was doing was coming true, I guess. So she left and the next one showed up. So this is part of, I believe, a case of demonstrating that miracles can occur. But what I wanted to point out to you as well is that when we ask for a miracle, there's that old saying of somebody being on a roof during floods and the helicopter pilot flies over to shift them and save them, and they sit on the roof, you know, with water all around them, all safe, and they're going, no, that's fine, you don't need to take us, we're waiting for a miracle. And they say, look, you've got to come with us because the waters are rising. They're going, no, God's going to save us. He's, you know, because they were fixated on the outcome of what their prayers were, was they wanted to see the water recede. In their mind, they asked to be saved, but they had conditions on how they were going to be saved. So anyway, they all ended up dead because they didn't go with the helicopter. Personal choice, right? They made the choice to ignore the life-saving gift. The only thing that I would add from my perspective at this point in time is, while I don't think or believe a person has to be special to actively participate in miracles, because this is energy that's available to all of us, I do agree that all of life is a miracle. Every little small thing and every big thing is part of the miracle of life, the miracle of creation. And if our eyes are closed and our heart is closed, then we're not going to see them. We're going to fail to appreciate them. Having said that, I do recall a woman saying to me many, many years ago, and I was in the darkest days of my life at the time and trying to remain positive, I might add. We had been sitting out the back. This was actually in the bush. We were sitting out the back of an office and I noticed an eagle flying past, and I hadn't been around a lot of eagles at that point in time. We've got wedge tails out in the bush in Western Australia, and I was just mind blown by them. They're just incredible birds. And so within this dark time, we're sitting out the back of the office, probably a bit morose, and I look up and I see this amazing eagle soaring through the sky. And I mentioned to her and I said, you know what? I said, even though life can be pretty dark sometimes, I said, don't you think it's incredible the miracle of how these eagles fly, how they soar, how they see, how they hunt, how they, you know what I mean? And when you're near them and close to them in the bush, they are so majestic. Well, this woman turned around and she said to me she had never ever noticed eagles. I mean, she was the same age as me. She'd been living in the area forever. And she said, but once I had pointed out the eagle and how majestic it was to her, she said that she would never ever forget that. She now knew, she could see it. And then, I suppose this is a bit of an ego stroke for me. She quietly turned around and she said to me, I do believe, she said, I read somewhere years ago that most people are walking around asleep. She said, and 1% of the population is doing the, I'm just going to bide my time, see it through because they see life as a chore. Most people are just wandering around doing their thing, neither here nor there. And she said, and there's another part of the population that reminds everybody else that there is something beautiful out there. And it would be missed if people didn't show it. Now, I'm not saying this so that you might look at me and think that I'm trying to tell you that I'm special. What I'm saying is that if we all make an effort to notice the miracle of life, it does become brighter for all of us and for the other people around us. So if we're a life enhancer, maybe start looking out for the miracles. I don't know. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts. As usual, I'm always interested in what you've got to say. Have a beautiful day. Have a miraculous day. Take care. Bye-bye for now.